If you want to understand how the matrix fills inside LiveGood, make sure you pay attention to this video. Hey there, this is Dave Gardner, and I'm going to show you how the matrix fills. Now, I think I have it pretty much down pat. Obviously, there could be some exceptions depending on if other people are sponsoring people in your downline and how that fills. But I'm going to go through some of the general explanations. And so what I'm going to point out first is what happens if you are the only one being active. So let's say you're taking action, you're filling up, and you're wondering how the matrix fills. It's not just left to right in every single row. It actually bounces back and forth. And so this is technically a, we could consider it a binary matrix because there are only two positions beneath or under any one person. But what it is actually is a forced matrix. So every position gets forced to fill. Now, in some other companies, you might be able to choose where you want to place those people. But in this case, it's up to basically the algorithm, and it's up to, who is actually sponsoring who. And so we're going to walk through some of these here. And let's say, for example, you are the person up here in black. I'm going to try to make this a little thicker, make sure it points out a little bit. And so let's say you are in this position, obviously. Once you start sponsoring people, there are really only two positions that are open beneath you. Obviously, one on your left side and one on your right. So the first person you sponsor is going to go over to your left. Second person you sponsor is going to go on the right. But it just doesn't go then 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, that's not how it fills. That wouldn't be fair necessarily to person number 2 if person number 1 got 2 people before person number 2 had 2 people put underneath them, if that makes sense. So we're going to erase all that. Number 3 does go on the left, but number 4 comes over to the right. Then it starts to bounce back. It makes sure that everyone has at least one before it gets the second one. So person number 5 would be over here. Person number 6 comes over here. And I apologize, I'm using my mouse instead of like a pen and a tablet, so my numbers aren't going to look very pretty. So that's how your first 6 people are going to fill, assuming that you're the only one doing them. Now, if you continue and let's say you have a big list and you're sponsoring people really, really fast before someone else can start to get their list ready and before they start to sponsor. And so the next thing that happens, you're going to start filling in your third row. So person number 7 comes here. And again, it doesn't go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 all the way across. Number 8 is actually over here. Because again, it's going to split between the left side and the right side. And then it's going to go back and it's going to look at the next person down to make sure they have one on the left and the right. So number 9 is not over here. Number 9 is actually going to be over here. Because then it takes into account that this person has one to the left. This person now has one to their left. This one already had the one to the left. So then number 10, obviously, this person's going to need one to their left. So person number 10 is going to come in here, and then it starts to fill in and trickle the rest of them. If you were to continue, it comes back here. Number 11 would be number here, and then number 12 is going to go back to the right. Number 13 is going to come back to the left. And then finally, number 14 is going to come back to the right. So it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And that continues to how it does that. Now, obviously, if we're going to do the next row, okay, number 15 comes here, okay, farthest to the left on that person in this group. Number 16 would be over here, okay? So now we're maintaining that outside left flow. But then we're taking a look at the next person. Okay, what's their outside next flow? And so number 17 would likely be here. Number 18 would likely be here. Then it's going to come back and it's going to start to now take a look at this lower level. Looking at, okay, now the left, right. Notice how each person has 3 available open. It would now go to the side where another one is open, but on the left of that next person. Because now this person has someone on the left. This person now needs to have someone on the left. So we're up to 18. This would be person 19. Then it would come over here. Likely this is person 20. And again, I apologize for my numbers. Number 21 would be here. And then all the way number 22 would be over here. And so now if we take a look, each person on their left leg now all has one. So if you sponsored 20 people or 22 people, you should be able to look and see that every other one is still open. Now, where it gets tricky and where some people might not ever see any spillover. And this is a circumstance with me, and it's been a circumstance with some other people that I have sponsored and are teammates of mine, and they, just like I, are staying ahead of me. I stayed ahead of my sponsor, and they will likely stay ahead of me. And so I'm just using black right here for people that I sponsored. But let's say someone else comes in, and let's say we focus on this person right here, number 16. So let's say my 16th person got on the email, they signed up, and right away they started to send messages. And they sponsored, I'm going to change the color for them. They sponsored a few people. So they sponsored their number one. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a number here. So they sponsored their first person. They sponsored their second person. And what happens, let's say they sponsored their third, which is down here, and their fourth, which is over here, just like mine split up. Okay, we had the third over here first and then the fourth on that other leg. So they haven't filled all their positions. But if you notice, they're already in this other level. Okay, for example, I have, we'll fill it up in black. I have my first row complete. I have my second row or my second level complete. I have my third level complete, but I'm working on the fourth level right now, filling my fourth level. And at the same time, this person, they have filled their first level. They are working on their second level. Okay, so their second level, though, is actually my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is actually my sixth level down here. Okay, this level that they're working on, their second level, is actually my sixth level. So I'm going to get rid of that little loop there. And so what we have to consider is the number of people that go in each level. So for me to fill my full first level, obviously I needed 2 people. For me to fill the second level of row, of course, I needed 4 more people. I needed to sponsor an additional 4 people. To sponsor my next row was an additional 8 people. And again, this number just keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. And I know that's an ugly looking 8, but hopefully you get the point. In order for me to fill this next row, I still need 16 more people. And for example, this case, I believe I showed half of them going up to number 22. I still need 8 more people. And so if I were to fill this row next, obviously I'm going to do 8 more people. This person right here did not get any of them. Okay, they would not gotten of any of those people because my next people are going to go in those spots. I then need to fill 32 more people just to fill this other row. And so if I did that, we'll go back to black. Let's say I filled this one and this one and this one and this one. Again, you know, there's my other 8 people to fill that row, and then I need to fill this whole one. If I sponsored 32 more people, I would have had my row or this other level filled. In order for me to fill this spot here and this spot here, I need to complete a total of 64 more referrals. I have to have 64 more people that I personally sponsored if no one else did anything for me to fill up this whole row along with that person's other 2 people. And like we said, they don't fill in that order. If you remember, this could take a long time for that to happen because what's going to happen, I'm going to get rid of those lines here just to clear out some stuff here. Number 1, I would be filling this person first. And then notice the next person I fill follows this outside leg of this whole second part of the matrix. Like I have a right side and I have a left side. This would have been the position that I filled next, but it's already occupied by that person's work and that person's effort. Then I'm going to come way over here. I believe the next one I'd be filling in would be over here. Then the next one I'd be filling in is over here. And it just continues to go back and forth and back and forth. So there are certain circumstances where if you are taking action and you are working as fast or faster than the person who sponsored you, you might not ever get any spillover into the matrix, but at least you know how and where and when and why possibly it is filling the way it is filling. And what also happens in some cases, let's say I had that whole bottom row. So let's say I had this whole bottom row filled, okay? And I'm getting closer. But if someone in here, let's say we're gonna put it in orange, I guess, because orange is bright. Let's say this person decides to not pay their monthly membership fee. What happens is the person who is in either of these two boxes below them that was in the longest, okay, whoever signed up first but ended up in one of the boxes below them, if this person left the matrix, so this person decides not to pay, this person right here, I believe, should likely have been the person to have signed up first and placed first, just based on how it goes left, right, left, right, left, right, all over. The left one should have filled first, and then the right one should have filled. So this person would actually bump up into that position, and then possibly anyone down here might bump up into their position. And if that didn't take place, let's say it was just the one bump up, if I hadn't filled this row down here yet, what that does is that creates an empty position here now. And even though I'm filling down here, the system recognizes that, oh, I have an empty spot in a higher position. So even though it should be filling in the 5th row instead, or whatever this is, I believe my 6th row, it actually goes up, and just to change color, it would put it up here instead, wherever that empty position is created, and then it would start to come back and fill in this whole row again. So I know I got numbers all over the place. I know it doesn't look pretty because I was using a mouse instead of, a really high-tech thing, but just goes to show you, you don't have to make things look perfect, but hopefully, excuse me, even my voice cracked there, so even that's not perfect. The point is, hopefully you understand the concept of how this fills. I look forward to working with you any way I can. If you're on my team, obviously, feel free to use this and share this with your, with your downline members as well, in case they're curious in how this actually fills. If you're looking for someone to join up with, obviously, I'm always looking for motivated people. There is a link right below this video where you can actually lock in and join, get yourself pre-enrolled, because when you pre-enroll, that's going to allow you to perhaps get the highest position that is available open as soon as you join. So let's say, today is a Sunday, I'm filming this, and let's say you pre-enrolled on Sunday and someone pre-enrolled later in the week by Thursday. And let's say neither of you joined, but because you pre-enrolled before them, let's say you both join and finally upgrade on Thursday night before the matrix fills, because you pre-enrolled first, you get the highest position available. So for example, maybe this was your spot. Maybe you went into that position and then the next person ended up somewhere down here because, again, this part was now full again, and then it goes to the next position available that's open. And so, again, the power line can be very powerful. The power line is not a guarantee, obviously, of how high you will get, but it allows you to get placed higher than someone, even if they joined before you. Now, let me give you that scenario. I mentioned both. You pre-enrolled on Sunday, someone else pre-enrolled on Thursday, and you both joined on Thursday. What if you joined, or you pre-enrolled on Sunday, someone pre-enrolled on Monday, and then also upgraded to become a member, even though you pre-enrolled before them? If you wait all the way till Thursday, and you're after the fact, and you join, now you have both paid, but because you pre-enrolled, you would get that higher position. Okay, that's the power of, or the benefit of the power line. So hopefully that has made sense. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or thoughts, feel free to leave them below. Obviously, make sure you subscribe so you can get updates to all of my videos on LiveGood and other marketing strategies that will help you build your program, whether you join me in LiveGood or if you're building something else. Again, a lot of these concepts apply to other scenarios as well. So again, this has been Dave Gardner, and I look forward to seeing your success with LiveGood and or whatever it is you are working on these days. Thanks.